Still in the Swamp of Sorrows, this time we're looking at the Swamp Jaguar. These can be found all across the western portion of the swamp. I would also recommend killing any mobs you come across, as the spiders drop good vendor trash and the crocodiles can be skinned for more leather. Even the NPC patrols on the road usually drop 1 to 2 silver. I figured that this farm would be more reliable compared to the lost ones, because the area is larger and there are more mobs to kill, but surprisingly, I was having a hard time of it with 2 to 3 people also regularly killing things in the area. Part of the problem could be that the mobs are in demand for some of the local quests, and I might have just gotten unlucky in my attempt, but I ran the spot at 2 PM server time, which is well before prime time for the server, and yet there was still a lot of competition for the mobs. Because of this, I wasn't able to continuously go from mob to mob, and would occasionally have to travel blindly hoping to see something to kill. All that said, the spot didn't end up being too bad. I picked up 5 silver and 95 copper along the way, and the items vendored for 6 gold, 16 silver, and 22 copper, for a grand total of 6 gold, 22 silver, and 17 copper for 1 hour of farming. Once again, I did this farm as a warrior, which are notoriously bad at grinding, especially before max level, so your efficiency should be just as good if not better if you're attempting this with any other class. The Jaguars themselves seem to have much lower drop rates than on many private servers, to the point where I think you'd actually be better off focusing on the crocodiles and spiders, and just kill the Jaguars you come across as filler. Because of this, and the fact that the crocodiles can be skinned, I would only recommend doing this grind if you have skinning, and if not, I would suggest sticking with the lost ones instead. The final grind spot in the Swamp of Sorrows is the Emerald Whelpling Enclave in the southwest, but I don't even have any footage of it. I was able to farm this spot a little very early on in the release of Classic, but now that more players have caught up in level, I don't think farming this location is at all feasible. The issue is this little guy, the Emerald Whelpling Pet. It can only be farmed from these particular whelps, and the drop rate is an atrocious 0.08%. That means that on average you would have to kill 12,500 whelplings to find a single Emerald Whelpling Pet, and a lot of people are trying. On the Incendious server, I even attempted to get in an hour of farming at 4 AM on a weekday, and it was still so crowded that I'd only be able to kill 1 whelp every couple minutes. If it weren't for all the people farming the pet, you'd be killing and skinning the whelps for their scales, leather, and a few other grey items, and the small flame sacks, which are used to create fire resistance potions. At the moment, you might be better off vendoring the sacks, but their auction house price should increase as guilds start to reach Molten Core. I don't have hard numbers on what the gold per hour was back when I was able to farm this spot, but I recall it being around the 6 to 8 gold range. Since the rewards for dealing with this spot are so marginal at best, I'd recommend avoiding it entirely if you see anyone else there. If you somehow have the spot all to yourself and you have skinning, I'd say give it a shot. If you get lucky and find the pet, consider holding onto it for a few months. It'll be a while until there are enough people with enough gold to consider buying cosmetic items, but once we hit that point, the Emerald Whelpling will sell for a small fortune. That's it for Swamp of Sorrows. Next time, we'll be looking at Desolus and the Badlands.